viewers, welcome to another phenomenal episode of Dr. Kamini Rao's Masterclass.
I thought the road that I have covered is huge. So I said anything is possible. So that gave me confidence. Dr. Rajkumar Eye Bank at Narayana, Nethralaya, he himself along with his wife comes and they open the eye bank, and there itself he pledged. He says, not only my eyes, my wife's, my children, everybody, we all pledge our eyes. And
I can see the passion in your voice when you talk about it.
I accept it. The whole thing is I accept things as they are. Maybe there is a bigger picture that we cannot see. I switched over, and believe it or not, within 2 to 3 weeks, even the remaining whatever tablets I had for diabetes, that went away. I lost another 3-4 kgs. And of course, as I told you, cholesterol, my heart problems, my kidney tablets, my prostate, all the tablets, all the 12 tablets, I'm off. I
You
felt
mean
great.
to say that the diabetes disappeared?
Yes, diabetes totally reversed and disappeared so that I do not have to take tablets. But I have to be very, very strict on my diet. That is, actually, diabetes, now I realize, is caused by carbohydrate intolerance. That means your body is not able to tolerate carbohydrates. Every time you take any carbohydrates, you all know that your sugar will go up. Once the sugar goes up, the insulin goes up behind it. So this you do it 5-6 times a day. You eat 3 big meals and you have snacks in between. So constantly you are having this roller coaster, and your insulin is constantly high. Then you develop what is called insulin resistance. So your carbohydrate intolerance, then your insulin resistance, and these two factors are the root cause not only for diabetes, Kamini. First, it starts with fat. You become obese, especially belly fat. If you find anybody with belly fat, that means they are on the way to become diabetes. That's one sign. Then usually they develop high blood pressure. Then usually they are detected diabetes. Then usually down the road, this is the same thing that is caused your heart problems, heart attacks. Then it affects your brain. Actually, Alzheimer's is called now type 3 diabetes, you know that? So it has effect on your brain and dementia and strokes. Then autoimmune diseases, all these diseases are directly related. And more than anything, I want to come to your field itself, PCOS. I must tell you, I don't know how much, infertility and erectile dysfunction are directly related to your, yes. And these are all related things. And the root is this. If you just get to the root, all these diseases are likely to disappear. So that's what I did. Reduce my carbohydrates. Of course, absolutely no sugars. Then increase, so when you give up something, you have to eat something. So increase healthy fats. The problem is that fats have been demonized for the last 30 to 40 years. Anybody who say eat healthy fats, no, I cannot eat butter, I cannot eat ghee, I'll get a heart attack. Because that's what we've been trained to understand. But that is, science says no, it's cholesterol and saturated fats have nothing to do with your heart attacks or atherosclerosis. So you have to reverse the whole thing and you will get back to normal.
So, Dr. Shetty, if I understand right, I'm trying to rewire my brain now. You're saying that the root cause for the diabetes is the carbs. Secondly, you're saying earlier we used to think 50% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and about 10-15% fat. Now, are you telling me that it's only 10-15% carbohydrate, about 30% of protein, and maybe 50% fat?
Exactly. We need to reverse the official thinking.
So you think that in Ayurveda they used to give you so much of lehas and tuppas and all that. Is that the best form?
Actually, that is.
Yeah.
That is the best form. But you should understand, you cannot have these fats as long as you keep on having high carbohydrates. See, our body is a hybrid machine, like a hybrid car. It can run on petrol, it can run on electricity. Our body also can run on glucose, it can run on fat. But as long as you keep giving it glucose or sugars, it will not burn fat, it will just store fat, and the fat that you eat will be stored, the sugars and the carbohydrates that you eat, some it will burn, the remaining it will convert into fat and it will store. And I told you, insulin is an hormone. Actually, it's a hormonal problem. It is a hormonal problem. And we should not think, okay, person is fat because he's eating too much. No, because he's eating the wrong food that he's become fat. He's eating carbohydrates.
This is important.
This is important. See, it's a hormonal problem. Insulin is not only one thing that pushes sugar away from your blood. Next, the insulin is a fat storing hormone. It converts the excess of carbohydrates into fat and it stores it up. It not only stores it up, it locks it up. As long as the insulin is high, this fat cannot be utilized. You can do any amount of running, you can do anything, it will not come out. So you have to get your insulin down, and the only way to get your insulin down is to reduce your carbs. That's the only, there is no other medicine where insulin level can come down. You have to reduce your carbs, insulin will come down, then it will start burning your fats. That's why you lose so much of weight. I have lost 10 kgs, I told. And the biggest downside to this diet is that you must get yourself a new wardrobe. Yeah.
That would be the best thing that people will want.
I know.
A new wardrobe which is of a smaller size.
All this what I'm wearing is exactly that. You won't believe I had so much of problem during this lockdown. I lost so much of weight. I couldn't, get my pants, new pants, leave alone. Get a tailor to, tighten my pants, this thing. I could not. So I was waiting for them to lift the lockdown. And after the second wave, when they lifted the lockdown, the very first day, I ran to Mantri Mall and Spencer's and bought 10 pants. Because I need to change. Those old pants, I was tying my belt and all that, it was still slipping away. I got myself a new wardrobe.
This is the happiest news that you can give our viewers. So, my dear viewers, you've heard from the horse's mouth. Dr. Bhujang Shetty, he himself had diabetes, and he's telling you it's more carbohydrate dependent. And if you are able to correct your diet and to be able to follow it strictly, you may be able to eliminate the need to take insulin and to take the oral tablets as well. But this you must follow under medical supervision. It cannot be independent. So, therefore, Dr. Shetty will now tell you what are the things that you can take and what are the things you cannot take. So, Dr. Shetty, now tell me, what are the things that you can take in fat? Now, for example, we will always say fat. How long can you go on taking, say, butter? I mean, butter is one form of fat, but what are the other things that people can take?
Yeah, one thing before we go to that, I must tell Kamini, what you already stressed. See, food is a very powerful medicine actually. Yeah. So, once you change your diet, your blood sugars will keep dropping, your BP will keep dropping, and you will still keep taking the tablets, and you may land in a bigger trouble. So, it has to be done under some supervision, how to reduce these tablets as your sugars are lowering, as your blood pressure is. That's very important. Don't blindly do it. That's one thing. Now, you told me how to follow this diet. See what happens, what are the things, do's and don'ts. First thing, what is the thing that is absolutely forbidden? Is sugars. Sugar, in every form of diet, anybody will say sugar is dangerous, sugar is toxic, sugar is slow poison, sugar is addictive. There is no doubt on that. Actually, if you go to see, directly or indirectly, sugar and carbohydrates, that is, has killed more people in the world than all the wars that were fought in the 20th century together. I was just checking up the number of people that have died in all the wars in the 20th century is about 100 million people. Do you know that in a year itself, diabetes and its related issues like heart and other problems can easily kill 20 to 30 million people in a year. That means within 2-3 years it kills more people than all the people who died in those wars.
It's really
but the
sad.
whole problem is it is such a slow poison. It is a slow motion disaster. Nobody realizes it, that it is causing so much havoc. People want short-term pleasure. They don't mind taking long-term pain. They know heart of heart, this sugar, people do say, but I must have. You know why? Because sugar is more addictive than alcohol, than tobacco, and even drugs. We are all addicted to sugar. People I talk to, they say, yes, I know that what you're saying is right. I can see the result. You have lost so much in front of my own eyes. I say, then why don't you follow? I can't give up sugar. I can't give up sweet. They plead. And
what about sugar, like sweeteners?
Yes. Artificial sweeteners, I mean, you can't replace all your sugar with artificial sweeteners.
No,
It is okay. You can take a
One or two
little, there are,
tablets.
yeah, maybe for, if you can't have a cup of coffee or something. And there are also, so many type of, artificial sweeteners. And the two best varieties, according to what my research is that stevia and monk fruit, they say. They are the two best two sweeteners in a limited way. You can't make all your sweets and every day make and keep on eating. It's definitely not healthy. So that definitely you can have. So sugar is a no-no. You should get sugar out of your life. There's no doubt on that. There's no controversy also. There are so many diets. Some say eat less fat, some say eat more fat, some say this. That's what's confusing. But as far as sugars and these drinks, sugar comes in so many ways. From morning to evening, from our cereal, from our cakes, pastries, and all these bakery products. They have all these refined sugars and bad fats, and all your colas, and all your ice creams, all your candies, what children love. And we as parents don't realize that. And we give it to them. And they get addicted. Tomorrow when we know it's not, he's putting on weight, pandemic, maybe they say, no school, he's putting on weight. Well, he's putting on weight because you are feeding him sugar. Once you have fed him, he will not leave. He's become addicted.
Why not she?
Oh, sorry, it also can apply to she. You are right. I agree with you. So, sugar is one thing that I told you. Then, okay, but if you're hale and healthy, young and energetic, and you're metabolically well, and you don't have carbohydrate, you can take some amount of grains. I'm not saying everybody must give up grains. But if you're a pre-diabetic, if you're a diabetic and you don't want to become a diabetic, or if you have a family history of diabetes, or if you have a belly fat, or if you're putting on weight, you have to control those grains. Grains means everything. From rice, wheat, ragi, millet, all these have a lot of carbohydrates. And carbohydrate means nothing. The body, whatever you eat, body will simply break it down and absorb it and convert it into glucose.
But they say that you don't take rice, but you can take chapatis and ragi and millet. So you are now telling me my viewers cannot take chapati, they can't take ragi, then what can they take?
I mean, what I'm telling is it's not for everybody. Those who are sick, I told you, those who are prone, if they really want to reverse diabetes or prevent diabetes, these are the people. If you are hale and healthy, you can have some amount. Okay? But you know why? The body does not differentiate. Although for you, brown rice, brown sugar, brown bread, they say it's very healthy. Take whole plant, or rather whole grains. But what happens is, it's a matter of a 10, 15, 20, half an hour difference. Body will simply absorb it. If it is white sugar, immediately your blood sugar will rise. If it is brown, or if it is brown bread or whole bread or whatever you call, it may take another half an hour, 45 minutes more. You won't believe what has helped me to control all this and find out exactly what's happening is I wear what is called a continuous glucose monitor.
Monitoring.
Yes, I do this. And this monitor, I can take my blood sugars without having a prick. Every 5 minutes I can. So whatever I have a doubt, as you say, eat brown bread or eat something, then I eat within 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, I monitor my sugar. And I see these things, my sugar spikes. So I know that I am intolerant to it. So the whole way of thinking of it is, my body can't handle it. You may be able to handle it because you are eating, you eat that, nothing will happen to your sugars, but I can't. So anybody who has got this glucose intolerance, they need to avoid or at least reduce it to the maximum. You can't have these refined foods or grains, whatever they may be.
So now tell me, Dr. Shetty, other than love and fresh air, what can my viewers eat?
Yes. Now, as you say, I've told you what you cannot eat. Then you have to eat something, we all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. See, green leafy vegetables. Vegetables, any amount you can have because they are very low in carbohydrates. Very, very low.
Even root vegetables?
Not root vegetables. Especially potatoes. They are called starchy vegetables. Whatever is starchy has a lot of sugar, that has to be avoided. So that's why we say the vegetables that grow above the ground. So you take these vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, and whatever is your favorite, whatever is locally available, but don't just eat them like that. You use oils, the healthy fats. You fry it and deep fry, whatever you want, use a lot of oils in them. Nothing will happen because you need to get your energy from somewhere. Because these cauliflower, because it's so low in vegetables, so low in carbohydrates, it doesn't give much energy. So energy is going to come from your fats, healthy fats. So you nicely make, ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, that and all the seasoning, use a lot of oils, butter, ghee, coconut oil, all these are healthy fats. Use these fats and that is quite filling. ಆಮೇಲೆ in case, what about my dosa, idli, chapati, where do I go? There are ways of doing it. See, now we have got what is called low carbohydrate flour. They call it keto flour ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. They keto flour. You can make, or it's called almond flour. You can, or flour from almond, flour from coconut flour. It is not very freely available. Sad thing is, it's quite expensive at the moment when compared to regular thing. But if you want to try, you may have to pay a price for it. So from these, you can make your dosa, you can make your chapati, you can make your puri, and you can make the curry with whatever you want. If you're a non-vegetarian, with all your chicken, and when you make that curry, you put a lot of butter and you put a lot of ghee into it, make it very tasty and eat it. There's no harm in that. Even the meat is very good. You get your proteins, you get your fats again. Eggs are very good. You can have 2-3 a day. They used to say, no, don't have the yellow.
The yellow?
Yellow is better. You can throw the white, but not the yellow. That's the thinking now. Yes. But actually white is also good. You need for protein. But I eat 2 to 3 eggs every day. You won't believe, my fats have gone up 3 times in the last 6 months. My cholesterols are much better than what it was ever, what I can remember. That is the story. So don't fear fats. The whole problem, as I has been always saying, that in the last 40-50 years, they have glorified carbohydrates and demonized fats. And that is the biggest mistake. We followed it, and it's all so much ingrained to, as a doctor you are saying this, even a common man will say, eat yellow means, no, I'll get a heart attack, I won't eat. So this is the biggest problem that has happened. You start eating, they are all healthy, natural fats. Of course, in fats also there are some bad fats. Bad fats are all these, highly processed seed oil fats. They are extremely processed. There are a lot of chemicals there, and definitely they are not good. And hydrogenated fats. They are all used in these bakery products. That's why I said bakery products is culprit number 1. Avoid them. So these are things if you do, and you get your, if you are, I'm not asking you, you may be a vegetarian, you can have a vegetarian low carbohydrate diet. Use oils. Coconut oil is a very healthy oil. Olive oil is a healthy oil. And you could use ghee, you could use butter. So most of your calories, as you told, 50 to 60% of your calories must come from fats. And most important, it's not about increasing fats. You have to decrease your carbs so that the body starts burning fat. So you eat fat to burn fat. It's like they say, set a thief to catch a thief. This is the best way. People think, if I eat fat, I'll become fat. No, it is the other way around. You eat sugar, you will become fat, because that sugar is converted into fat and is locked away. Here, whatever fat you eat will get burned away. And if the best part of this diet, I must tell you, it's not about you're losing weight and sugars coming down and other things. So many diets are there. You do lose weight. And you ask anybody, yes, I took this diet, I lost 5 kgs, 10 kgs. Then what happened? After 6 months, I got fed up. I started eating, I put on weight again. So it is not sustainable. You know why it's not sustainable? Most of these diets are calorie restricting diets. Once you restrict your calories, definitely everything will improve. Your weight will improve, your diabetes will improve, but then you can't sustain it. But the thing with this high fat, healthy fat diet is, your appetite comes down. You don't feel hungry anymore. There is no craving. You won't believe, Kamini, I must tell you, before I used to have my dinner by around 9 o'clock, and 4, 5 I get up very early. I make my own tea. I'm quite hungry, and I feel in between I used to get up. Then maybe I am feeling hungry. I used to keep 2 bananas and some biscuits by my bedside to eat in the middle of the night. That was my fear. I used to feel hungry so often. Actually, carbohydrates make you feel so hungry that you must eat every 2-3 hours, whereas fats satiate you. So that hunger comes down. Once hunger comes down, automatically you don't want to eat. So the law is, eat when hungry, stop when full, never feel deprived. That is a theory in these healthy fats. So I'm not asking you to don't eat too much. Eat till you are full. Don't feel deprived. But stop when don't eat. Just because it's 12 o'clock I must have lunch, or 4 o'clock I must have tea. This if you follow, automatically you lose, because I am not hungry all the time. So I don't eat much. So automatically my calories come down, and then my weight and other things also come down.
What about know this high glycemic and low glycemic foods that they talk of. So that's one thing. They always say that, oh my God, that is high glycemic. But at the same time, and you are saying, like, how do you control children? It's very, very difficult. I mean, say you will have good self-control. What about a child who's 6 years or 7 years old and say, no, you can't eat ice cream. No, you can't eat those chips. Then the child pulls their head and says, what can I eat?
Yes,
Then what do you say?
that's very true. That's very true. See, the issue of handling children, of course, it's all a behavioral thing, as you know. Now, what happens from day one, if the parent realizes how bad sugar is to the child and to herself, then you will know, you will be very, very aware. The whole problem is now anything, every time the child asks ice cream, you keep giving. The problem is the child is slowly getting addicted to it. Once it's getting addicted to it, it will definitely tear its hair or pull its hair. That is the problem. We have to be aware. Okay, give it to some extent, but see that the child eats healthy fats. Once the child eats healthy fats, especially from the beginning, it doesn't crave so much. Of course, you don't have to, friends' party is there, don't say don't eat cake. No, it's not necessary. You can have a little, but then you're eating cake all the time. If it's not cake, it's chocolates. If it's not chocolates, it's ice cream. If this is Sunday, okay, I must have. This is a birthday, I must have. Today there is some wedding, I must have. Today there is a puja, I have. We are eating sugar all the time. And that is what has made us addicting and also the child. You have made the child an addict. So then you can't help it. So from day one, if you are aware that, this sugar is slow poison, I am killing my child. You have to realize that actually that is the truth. If you see the history.
What about the yoga, and how long after eating your food in the evening should you go to bed?
Yes, that's another excellent question. I must tell you, another thing I must tell you is that, see, what's called intermittent fasting you must have heard of. I follow that. I actually have my dinner before 6. I mean, in these last 6 months, I followed all that. And then I have my breakfast at 8 o'clock. That means I have a 14-hour window of fasting. This fasting is excellent for the body. It gives the body time to rejuvenate and repair and improve gut bacteria and improve insulin sensitivity. So many things happen. So you must, now I realize that now every religion advises fasting. Every religion you just take, they advise they take fasting. Why do you think they do that? Because they knew that then fasting is excellent. So at least if you can't 2 days together fast, give good gap at least as an early breakfast, rather early dinner, late breakfast. In 14 to 15 hours if you can give, that will be an ideal thing to do. So that's why they used to say, if you eat once, you're a yogi, eat twice, you're a bogi, eat thrice, you're a rogi, and eat 4 times, ethikan hogi. That's exactly, I mean, these are wise words. These are wise words.
Absolutely. So now you said that if you don't take carbohydrates and you've got the fats, and you'll start burning the fats. It's always said that with 1 gram of carbohydrates, you give out about 4.5 calories of energy, whereas 1 gram of this gives you 9. So which means that gives you more energy, but you must really work hard to get that energy out, because the body will be looking for carbohydrates. It's easier to do the carbohydrates rather than fat. So how much more effort does the body have to do to get that fat into metabolism?
Not really. Actually, it works like this. I told you, if you eat high carbohydrate and a high fat diet, all the fat that you eat is not burnt because your body is used to burning only carbohydrates, so that automatically gets stored. High carbohydrates and sugars, whatever it requires to burn, whether it is 4 calories or whatever, it burns. You will always have excess because we are eating all the time. So all the excess, it has to store somewhere. Sugars can't be stored as sugars because we have got very limited, 2000 calories as glycogen can be stored, whereas 200,000 calories as fat can be stored. That is the capacity of fat. So you feel hungry all the time. The sugars are converted into fat and stored away again. So there is no question of burning fat then. But when you decrease your carbohydrates, for all your activities, including your brain activities. Actually, we in medical colleges were taught that brain only can live on glucose. That's untrue. Today it's been proved. It's happy to run on ketones. That is the fat product. And once you have these ketones running, ketone is a better fuel. Ketone is a cleaner fuel. Ketone is an antioxidant. Ketone is an anti-inflammatory. And ketone also increases your BMR, basic metabolic rate. So that's how you burn things and that's how you lose weight. It works like magic.
I know, if you go back to your biochemistry days, of your Krebs cycle and all these other cycles, the aldo sugar and the keto sugar and all that. But having said all these things, many a time, how come that the generation of textbooks today, Dr. Shetty, still don't vehemently say, get onto this kind of a diet and cut the carbs out? Is the pharma industry worried? Are the physicians not very happy to proclaim this? Or are we just still keeping quiet and putting our nose in the sand and saying we don't know anything about it? Why is it that you're talking about it and nobody else is talking about it?
Actually, Kamini, what you said was right too. Let's go back 30, 40 years when we were all students. How many hours of nutrition classes did we have?
Nothing.
We didn't have anything. So whatever we read here, news, TV, that, whatever people said, we just believed it. One thing. Then what happens, I told you, some 40, 50 years back, some powerful and very influential personalities, doctors in US, they made a fat diet hypothesis saying that you get heart attack because you are eating excess of fat. And this hypothesis, it was not real science. Hypothesis was simply they convinced the whole world that the world came out with what is called the food triangle or the guidelines. With all these, as you say, 50-60% carbohydrates, 25-30% proteins, and the remaining small amount fats. And we have been very religiously following that, and following all that, see what's the position today. We are getting from bad to worse. Every day, with so much of medicine, so much of technology, things are not improving. That means there's something wrong somewhere. So that's what made me think, look, I am religiously following what they say. Why am I not getting results then? See, just managing diabetes with more and more tablets and more injection is not treating. At least I must, maintain it at the same level. But it's going downhill, they are adding more tablets. So then I had, I really wanted to dig deep into this. Then somehow I've been lucky actually to come across these things. And then I find out I am not alone. Thousands of doctors in the US today, doctors I'm telling you, follow this. They're trying very hard for last 5, 6, 7 years to change the guidelines, but there is so much of resistance from on the top. First thing is that, as you say, these guidelines are given by a committee, and this committee is loaded by people who are interested in all these things, the pharma and the industry and the food industry. That's why they say you are fed by a food industry who's not interested in your health, and you're treated by a health industry who's not interested in your food. That is a tragedy. So they are unable to change it. But now, fortunately, I feel that there is some change because thousands of doctors, because everybody can see the results. It is there for anybody to see. But why there is so much resistance, I am still able. And we as doctors also, we are sometimes not open-minded. And we just want to, they are right. They are following what is the standard guideline. We can't say that they are wrong. But the guideline itself needs to change. So this is happening. Thousands of doctors in the US, Canada, in Europe, and in Australia, they are from big groups, and because they are advocating it to their patients and they are seeing fantastic results, it is just a matter of time before it becomes official.
Well, that was excellent exposition on the current thoughts and views on the management of diabetes. It has been an eye-opener, Dr. Shetty, and I am hoping that a lot of people, not necessarily doctors, but the general public, that two excellent doctors sitting here are endorsing this, and I am sure that they will understand that we are not here to sell any products, and that's very, very important. But there is one burning question that I must say, that in PCOS, for example, with the insulin resistance, whatever exercise they do, they are not able to dissolve that fat that is there, on their body. So is there anything different that they can do to bring that fat down compared to a person who's a non-PCOS?
Exactly. I must say this, there is, you can never outrun a bad diet. It is not about exercise, Kamini. It's about your diet. It's about insulin resistance. As long as insulin is high, it has effect on every cell of your body. We think insulin only role is to reduce blood sugar. No, it has hundreds of functions, including on your O's. Once that insulin goes up, especially, I told you it's a fat storing hormone. You can never burn away these fats as long as your insulin is very high. And when the insulin is high, because your carbohydrates are high, so you need to get down your carbohydrates, automatically insulin comes down. Automatically, when there are no carbohydrates to burn, the body will learn how to burn fats. And when it learns to, fat is and I told you, we can store only 2,000 calories in the form of glycogen. That's why we feel hungry all the time. Whereas we have got 200,000 calories as fat. That's why once you start knowing how to start burning fat, you don't feel hungry at all. It is like, I don't know if you have seen these diesel tankers which carry diesel. Yeah. Okay, it has a small tank to feed itself, but it's got 100 times bigger tank on itself it's carrying. So because of its own tank which can use so little, every now and then it has got to go to the petrol pump and fill it. But if it had a plumbing to use the diesel that's on top, it can run for days and weeks and months without going to the petrol pump. That's exactly what's happening here. We have to build that, the system and the enzymes to burn these fats, and body will be very happy to burn it. But only thing is, we are not giving it a chance because we are eating too much of carbohydrates. The trick here is, you reduce your carbohydrates, you reduce your insulin levels, you reduce your insulin resistance, then automatically the body will start burning fat, and all the benefits, I can't tell you, all the metabolic diseases that we are all seeing today, every single one of them will be prevented or reversed, including, do you know that diabetics are 4 times more prone for Alzheimer's than a normal person? I told you before that Alzheimer's is now called type 3 diabetes. It is insulin resistance in the brain. So that is the current situation.
That is excellent. So it has been wonderful, Dr. Shetty. Having you here has been an eye-opener, and of course for the numerous viewers that I have here, I'm sure they have enjoyed this conversation as much as I have, and I would like you to tell my viewers how to be extraordinary when you have that extra within you, and not to look around. You dream when you are awake rather than when you sleep, and to achieve that dream, you are able to sort of set your biological clock right by thinking right, and you are able to sort of set all the pre-morbid conditions correct. So I would like your pearls of wisdom to our viewers.
Yes, I'd like to tell them that there is a quote somebody has rightly said, that great dreams of great dreamers are never fulfilled but always transcended. In my life, I must tell you, friends, that whatever has happened today, I just can't put a finger on what I did to become what I am. But only thing I can tell you is, I somehow kept dreaming. From my village days, I dreamt of going to a school in Bangalore. Then later, I dreamt of meeting Rajkumar. Then I dreamt of pulling him into eye donation movement. All these dreams have come true. Of course, as Kamini has said, dreams are not the ones that you see in your sleep, but the ones that don't let you to sleep. So you must have that creative visualization and work towards it. If you do that, sky is not the limit.
So that was Dr. Bhujang Shetty for you. My dear viewers, I'm sure you have loved this program as much as I have. Until we meet again, thank you for watching this show.
ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ರಾಜ್ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅತಿ ಶೀಘ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾಮಿನಿ ರಾವ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನೋಡಿ ಆನಂದಿಸಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ.